Hi there, my name is Ms. Julie, and I am a storyteller with a group called Spellbinders-Broomfield, and I have a story I'd like to share with you today. My father, he grew up in Pendleton, Oregon, and after he graduated high school, he moved to Wisconsin, where he eventually met my mom, and they got married, and they had 4 kids, one of which was me. Well, I remember one summer my dad decided that we should drive from Wisconsin to Oregon to go visit his sister and her husband on their ranch just outside of Pendleton. And this story is from that visit. When I was a little girl, I loved to chew bubble gum. It was a terrible habit, but I just couldn't help it. I just chewed and chewed and chewed. And I wouldn't just chew one stick of gum. Oh no. I would put in 2 or 3 sticks of gum in my mouth at one time, and I'd just be chomping and chomping and chomping away. And my teachers, they would see that big wad of gum in my mouth and they would get really mad. And my teacher would say, "Julie, spit that gum out right now and throw it in that wastebasket." And so I would take the gum out of my mouth and I would wrap it up in paper and I would toss it in the wastebasket. See, I didn't really mind because I knew I had a spare pack of gum right in my shirt pocket. Well, now if my teacher got mad, my mom really got mad. You see, my mom was the one that did the laundry in our house, and a lot of times I would forget about that pack of gum in my shirt pocket, and I would leave it in there when I threw my shirt into the laundry basket. And then when my mom did the wash, that gum would get all soft and gunky and just make a mess in my pocket. And my mom, she would say, "Julie, you ruined another shirt with that bubble gum. You have got to stop chewing gum." And I would usually say, "I'm sorry, Mom." And, she was just always mad at me about it, except finally one day, she stopped being mad at me forever. And this is the story about why. It was one of those trips where we were going to see my Aunt Ina and Uncle Owen that had the ranch out in Pendleton. And we were out there and I decided to go take a walk out into the desert, which it's like Colorado. It's a high desert, so it has trails and you can go walk on it with no problem. And so I'm taking my walk and I'm just looking around and, having a nice time. And all of a sudden, I stepped on a rattlesnake's tail. Now, if you don't know about rattlesnakes, they use their tail to warn you when they're going to strike. But because I was stepping on that rattler's tail, he couldn't warn me, so he just got up and he aimed at my heart and boom, he got me right in my pocket where my gum was. Well, I was so scared I couldn't move, and I was looking down at that rattlesnake's beady eyes, and he was looking at me with hate in his eyes, and he just kept moving his jaws, trying to get his fangs out of my gum so he could go and strike me again. But as he was moving his jaws, he started to get that gum softer and softer, and before you knew it, I started looking down, and there was a little bubble coming out of the side of his mouth. And that bubble, well, the more he chewed, the bigger that bubble got. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And pretty soon it was the size of a basketball. And me, well, I just got up all my courage and I took my finger and I went pop. And I popped that bubble. And that snake, he went flying across the trail and he hit his head up against a rock and it knocked him out cold. Oh, me, I had used up just about all my courage popping that bubble, and I just fainted, and I fell on the other side of that trail, out cold. Well, when I didn't come for lunch that day, my mom went out looking for me, and she found me out cold on the trail, and she saw the snake lying out cold on the other side of the trail, and my mom, she woke me up, and she's like, "Julie, are you okay? What happened?" And I told her the same story that I just told you. And you know what? She didn't believe me either. That's my version of a story told by a man named Joe Hayes called the Gumchewing Rattler. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you another time.